Microfinancing is one of those words. It's one of those hot topic words, like you always hear about it, and it's one of those new, cool things that people are doing in other countries. But I really didn't know exactly what it meant. So I heard about these two different groups that were doing it in the Dominican Republic. And so finally last week I went up to Dallas and met with two key members. Told you about Edify, and then Esperanza has actually been there for 15 years. Edify is just now starting down there. And so Esperanza has been there for 15 years, have government contacts. Their actual board, they have a board that's in the Dominican Republic. They have like an executive director down there. So they're very well established. And their goal is to bring 25% of the population up to the middle class, because there is no middle class, really. And so it's about 500,000 people is their goal, and they've already affected 50,000 with their microfinance loans. Hearing those ideas and then asking, all right, how can I fit in that model? And then just hearing these ideas come back and forth from these guys, like, why don't you set up a computer lab, but you could possibly even set it up as a loan to an entrepreneur in the area and say, hey, look, I'll give you 5 computers and this course material and maybe a little fund to help with staffing wise, and then you got to pay me back in X amount of time. Why can't I create something where it's making the Dominicans really fight for what they want, which is to be to move up into a middle class and not have to worry about where their next meal is coming from, and then also be able to turn around and hire their friends and family and other community members. I left Dallas thinking, wow, this is really encouraging. There's, I can partner with these organizations that are well established, but then take down my idea and take down, the possibility, my connections with the laptops, and be able to really serve the country that I love. And so it was exciting. It was exciting last week. I was actually reading through Fellow Travelers this morning, and just seeing the concentric circles and where your relationships lie and how those relationships work. And so I think that will be something interesting to think about, especially when I am juggling so much. Like, what about relationships? Do you put them on the back burner? Because that's really, it's a really tough part, because then in reality, both my ideas could totally flop, and then I could be totally alone and crying in a closet. Now, but yeah, I think it'll be very interesting to kind of work through that and process that and see, like how are my interactions with, my family, with my close friends, with the people I work with, people in the community, people maybe I don't work well with, and just really formalizing the boundaries you have in your relationship. So I know for one of the ideas that we're working on for profit, like, we had to come to a place where it was a tough move on, really solidifying where our relationships are, because my partner is like one of my best friends, but he's also my business partner. And so just really being, upfront with him and, telling him what I expect from him as a business partner. We're going to make sure that it's set up appropriately, where we're not going to try to stab each other in our back or stab other people in each other's back. So I think right now we have pretty good heads on our shoulders, but also there's no money involved right now. So I think because of that, we haven't really run into any huge issues. If I did not do the program, I don't know if I'd be doing these two things, just because the program really was the starting point for me, because I started the program with the idea of the nonprofit in my head, but then really started thinking through it, going through the program, and then a month in, the startup idea came around, and I was like, I got to do this too. The program definitely provides fuel, I guess, to keep you going, especially when you need it, when you're looking for advice or looking for suggestions on how to run your business. South by Southwest is coming up, and there's going to be a lot of angel investors and people that are in the tech industry, and this is definitely a tech heavy focused startup. So looking at just meeting with investors and everything, and we already have our pitch deck and our executive summary pretty much written, and so talking to development groups and trying to get some developers.